As we just heard, the senator is motivated by conviction that pornography is an addictive substance which can have a harmful effect on people and relationships. But he is a politician, not a professional medical expert on such matters. For more on what is known about the effects of such adult material, we turn now to Marty Klein. He's a licensed marriage and family therapist and author of Sexual Intelligence, What We Really Want from Sex and How We Get It. Welcome to Take Two.
Hello.
We just heard, and you just heard there from Senator Weiler from Utah about the potential effects of pornography. Your thought?
He sounds like a very nice man, and I share his concerns. I'm concerned about the children of Utah also, and I'm concerned that people are getting the wrong information about sexuality from a lot of sources, including pornography. So I share the senator's concerns. Unfortunately, he's misinformed about a number of things. He's misinformed about what the science says about the effects of pornography. If pornography was so dangerous, then how does he account for the fact that the rate of divorce in the United States has gone down since free, high-quality Internet flooded America? How does he account for the fact that the rate of sexual violence in America has gone down in the last 15 years since the Internet flooded America with free, high-quality pornography?
But I would just say to that, how are we sure that those two things are linked? There's a whole lot of stuff that could impact whether or not couples get divorced.
Absolutely true. I'm not claiming that more pornography reduces the amount of sexual violence. What I'm saying is that for people who claim that pornography consumption leads to sexual violence and leads to broken homes and all of that, the facts on the ground of what has happened in the United States in the last 15 years doesn't make any sense.
We heard the senator mention
about what's happening in the United States. In the last 15 years, the rate of teen pregnancy, for example, has gone down. So for people who claim that pornography is driving all of these public health problems, the science just doesn't reflect that. The federal government's own statistics, the FBI's statistics about violence and the Labor Department's statistics about divorce, it just doesn't match what the senator is claiming about the effects of pornography.
Well, let's take a step back here and talk about the science. We heard there the senator mentioning a Cambridge University study from 2014. You just mentioned, kind of the rates that we have data on about divorce and things like that. But how hard, when it comes to actually studying the direct effects and impacts of pornography, how difficult is that to do scientifically? I would imagine, A, there's not a whole lot of funding for it, and B, it's one of those things that's a little bit difficult to measure, no?
Yes, of course. It is difficult to measure, and it would be nice if people like the senator were in favor of funding sexual scientists, funding the Kinsey Institute, funding other institutions in the United States that are in a position to really study this in an objective way. When the senator mentions the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, that's the rebranded organization that used to be called Morality in Media. And their reason for existence was to censor television, and they were miserable failures at it, and so they've rebranded themselves as the National Center on Sexual Exploitation. They're the people who are talking about erototoxins that the brain produces, a completely invalid scientific concept.
Well, let's pivot a little bit to what you can speak with all authority on, which is what you actually see day in and day out at your practice. When we hear the senator saying that pornography is an addictive substance, does that bear true with what you're seeing and hearing from your clients?
No. The whole idea that watching movies can actually be addictive in the same way that heroin is addictive is just silly. Now, what I do see is that there are some people who are way more involved in pornography than they should be. There's no question about that. There are several million people in the United States, all over the country, who are more involved in pornography than they should be. And what those people need is some therapy. Maybe some of them have obsessive-compulsive disorder and they need medication. Some of those people have bipolar disorder, or some of those people need antidepressant medication. There's no question that there are some people who are are over-involved in pornography in very much the same way that there are some people who are over-involved in golf, some people who are over-involved in shopping on eBay. There's lots of people who are over-involved in stuff. But to make the leap that being over-involved in pornography somehow leads people to behave in all these antisocial ways, the science is just not there.
What about the actual potential positive effects or beneficial effects of pornography from what you're seeing and what you've been hearing from people you work with? How can it be a healthy part of a relationship?
I'm glad you asked that because people don't talk about that enough. I mean, for my patients, a certain number of them, what they've learned from looking at pornography on the internet is that there's such a thing as the clitoris. The internet pornography is full of attention to women's genitalia. There's lots of men who are providing oral sex for women, and that's very good modeling for a lot of relationships. We see a lot of stuff in internet pornography that couples like to watch together, and it increases the communication between the two of them. Gee, honey, does that look interesting to you? Yes or no? Gee, honey, do you think you might want to try that? Yes or no? So I certainly see that in my private practice. And frankly, what I also see in my practice is that when a husband is watching porn and his wife finds out and does not like it, that's an opportunity for the couple to talk honestly about their sexual relationship. It's an opportunity for the couple to talk about what is going on in our lives that we have separated from each other in this way. Now, not every couple takes that opportunity, but it's a wonderful opportunity when one partner says to the other, wait, why are you watching porn? What are you getting from this activity? Why do you like masturbating so much? It's a great opportunity for couples to have honest conversations.
And Marty Klein, bearing in mind this is public radio, it's still relatively early in the morning for someone. I realize this is a difficult topic to broach given some of those parameters. When it comes to potential perils of adult material in relationship, what do you see as some of the pitfalls there? And what do you think of this notion of legislation being used to try to remedy some of those?
There's a parenting issue here at the core of this. We have young people who are consuming a product that's made for adults, and that's a problem. It's a parenting problem. And what's needed is for every parent in America who has a kid to sit down with that kid and to say, we have to talk about pornography. We have to talk about adult materials online that you may be watching. I don't want you to watch them, but if you're going to watch them, let's talk about it. Just like I don't want you to bicycle in a dangerous way, but I want you to wear a helmet, right? So we have to increase the porn literacy of young people, and that means that every parent, including the parents in Utah, every parent needs to sit down and talk about what is it that you see when you look at adult materials online. And when you look at those adult materials, you have to understand that that's what you're looking at is not a documentary. That's not what real people look like when they have sex, and that's not the activities that real people necessarily have when they have sex, and that adult materials leave out some of the best parts of a sexual experience, like kissing or hugging or laughing or whispering or talking. So I think what we really need to look at here is not how is pornography destroying children, but rather what do parents need to do to increase the literacy of their young people so that when kids look at adult materials, they have a better understanding of what they're looking at and they're not going to get the wrong ideas about what real-life sexuality is like.
Marty Klein, author of Sexual Intelligence, What We Really Want from Sex and How to Get It. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.